Hi, thanks for coming back to my little crafty secret. For this video, I will be sharing 6 cards that I created using the Simon Says Stamp March 2022 card kit. I told myself prior to buying this kit that I had to use this as soon as I get it. I just can't let it sit in my craft room and not be used. I also wanted to make sure that I can use it for other occasions besides Easter. So you are actually able to. There's Easter, there's happy birthday, there's thinking of you, just sending hugs or maybe even encouragements if you want to use it for an encouragement card. And honestly, you could probably use this for a Mother's Day card. So I decided just to pick it up because, again, I really love the bunnies and I thought they were so adorable. Not only that, they are very easy to color. You really don't need to color the bunnies very much, basically the outline of it. I know the design team and others have already presented this on YouTube, but I wanted to share what I got in the contents of the kit. I actually picked up a couple other items. I picked up the coordinating dies, which I'll show later, and I picked up the Simon Says Stamp Thank You die set. They were giving it away for their 20-year anniversary, so I decided to pick that up as well. These papers are so beautiful. The camera does not pick up the beauty of the paper. It is gorgeous in real life, and I had a hard time figuring out which side to use. Now these are just watercolor images and of course the sentiment strips. So you could probably make maybe about 10 or so cards using what's provided in the kit. I only made 6. I have scrap paper from those pattern papers, and I haven't even used the watercolor images that Simon Says Stamp provides. So, you know, I'm guessing I could probably make another 2 more cards with the scrap paper and, you know, those 2 stamp images for the watercolor cards. On the watercolor card, I'll definitely be able to make at least 2 of them. There's that thank you die. I really like that. And the mesh bag is really awesome. Yeah, this is actually the end of the card kit, so really liked what they provided this month. So now let's get into the crafting. So now I'm just going through the items to see how I want to use the paper. I decided to make card bases out of all the colored cardstock and the white paper as well, and I decided to make that one the slimline card. Off camera, I will show here in a minute, but off camera I did cut down the card bases. I'd made a slimline card for the green envelope, and then for the gray and also the white envelope, I just made the A2 size card bases for them, and I did that for all of the colored cardstock. Now we can get into the card making. I decided to start with the gray card bases first because I really like the color, and I liked the 2 papers that I have chosen to coordinate with the card bases. At this time, I actually feel a little bit overwhelmed because this is actually the very first time I decided and really took to heart in using the papers that are part of a kit. You know, when I get these kits, I usually like piecemeal it, I guess what you would want to call it. I would use only the stamps and or dies or maybe even the embellishments, but I would hold on to the paper, and once in a while I might dip into it, but it's not very often. So I do feel kind of weary in that sense because, again, this is like the first time I actually wanted to use up this kit and use it for what it's intended for, not for me, for my hoarding purposes. So I'm just cutting down the 6x6 paper to 3 3/4 by 5. I then will set this aside, and in a minute here I will show you how I like to stamp my images, and I like to do the stamping of my images multiple times. And that's just because I have it out, I might as well do it 3-4 times just so that I can have extras in the future. And what I do is just kind of measure off how tall and how wide the stamp is. And I cut little pieces of cardstock paper to be able to accommodate that stamp. I was able to have 2 of those grass stamps onto one cardstock, and one's going to be upside down and then one's going to be right side up. So it doesn't really matter because I was planning to actually cut this out. I didn't decide to do so because I didn't like the way it looked. I only did one grass that I cut out. I colored them and I didn't like the way it came out. It just didn't look good to me, and it's because I believe it's because I used a green ink. I do like the green inks, but not as an image outline. I just, when I was doing this, it was going to be really great. In my mind, it worked perfectly. And in reality, it just did not come out good. But you'll see how one of them came out. I thought it was okay to use. So I decided to use at least one of them, and I die cut them out, and you'll see them at the very end of the video. While you watch me stamp the images, I just wanted to just take a minute and say just how much I really enjoyed this stamp set and just crafting with the entire card kit. Like I said earlier, this was really the first time I used the card kit. My snacks. How I used the card kit, how it was really intended, and I really enjoyed it. I got more joy, more pleasure out of using the paper, the stamps, everything provided in the kit, more so than I have just by hoarding my kits away. And so if you happen to be kind of like me, where you get the kit, you get really inspired, and once you get it, you just don't use it, take it out, use what they provide. You already spent money on it. You might as well get the joy that you were looking for in the kit. And don't be afraid to cut up those papers. I am trying really hard not to hoard my papers anymore, for many reasons. And I want to encourage anyone who has the same kind of problem like I did or do. I'm still recovering. Just to use your supplies, you will get more joy than just having it there to look at and taking space in your craft room or craft space. You may not have a craft room. So as you can see, I stamped these bunnies multiple times. I actually stamped all the bunnies, and I did not show it here in the video, but I did want to show you just a few of them where I stamped them. But I did stamp multiples of each of the bunnies. What's really great about these bunnies is that you can make them all white bunnies, and you really don't need to do much coloring, just maybe some gray shadowing and like a pink, like cheeks. I see a lot of pink cheeks on bunnies, even though they have fur, and I don't know, do pink rosy cheeks shine through fur? Maybe. I guess in the cartoon bunny world it does. And then you just need some pink for the ears, and even maybe for the nose too. So they're really awesome images to color. And you can see how cute they came out. I just love them. I think my favorite was the big little one, like the mama and the baby one up there in the upper right. And yeah, it was really, really easy and fun to color. And I just did it at a counter while I was talking to my mom while she was making tacos for me and my babies. So yeah, there they are. And you notice I didn't cut out every single bunny, and that's just because, I don't need to have every bunny cut out at this time. Maybe later on, when I come back to this stamp set, I will cut the rest of them out because I'll be making more, of course, but I don't need them for right now. So now you see me fiddling around with how I want to make a little scene. One of my other things that I would like to do is learn how to make scenes, and it's actually quite difficult for me. I see that people do it so often, and it seems to come easy for them, and it comes like it's really nice. So I really want to try to make scenes on my cards, and this is really my kind of first attempt of making a scene, and I just decided to use that floral paper as like a garden background or garden. They're sitting in a garden, and I really liked how these little tulips came out. I liked how it really came out, and I thought they were really pretty, so I wanted to include it there as well. It kind of was difficult, just to kind of think about this. I thought that grass in the middle was really an awesome idea. Of course, as you saw, I cut that from one of the sides of the tulip images, and I didn't want to throw it out. It was still a really good portion of the image, and I thought I can use it. And of course, you'll see it here. So I'm just cutting it around to make it more cohesive, to make it look like it was meant to be that way, instead of just being chopped off at the end. And that was quite easy to do. These bunnies are super duper cute. Like I said, so easy to color. Just really fun to color. Now I'm just placing my bunnies down on the paper and the flowers on the paper. And I wanted to pop these up, but I decided to make them flat because I do plan to mail all 6 of these cards out. And I didn't want to have to pay extra for postage. So there's the first card panel. I end up chopping it off at the edges there, and I think I probably could have left it there because there is plenty of room on the card base on the edges there, but I decided not to do that and just of course cut it down. Now off camera I created this card panel. I forgot to hit the play button, but I did create this, and I thought this came out super duper cute. This looks very Mother's Day-ish. Now I wanted to add a little bit more to those cards, and in the stamp set came this heart, and I decided to make the outline again with a red instead of black. I wanted to kind of fade in the background and not really stand out, so that's why I decided to make it like a light color red. I think this was the blush color that Simon Says stamp came out. I don't have what is it called? The Copic markers. I have Oahu, I think it's called. That's how you pronounce it. But they are very cheap markers compared to the Copics, and I know I just don't have the money to actually buy the Copics. And after doing some research and after doing the research, like comparing the different alcohol markers that are out there, this one actually came up as second to the Copic markers, and it wasn't by just a couple of people. There's like well-known alcohol marker artists who use the sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but they would recommend these as a good starter marker, or if you just don't have the funds to actually buy the Copics. So I decided to go ahead. I think it was about $120 when I bought them, and they frequently go on sale. So I actually got this, like the 120 set plus I think a skin tone set, I think it was, for about $120. So I did catch the sale. I waited it out until it was on sale and was able to get myself some markers. It was a little bit of investment, but I reach for them a lot, and I really like the way the images come out. I mean, to me, it's good for me, so I don't need to have the expensive ones. So now I'm just placing them where I think they would look best. I didn't end up using 3 like I thought maybe I would for each card, but I did place at least one here, and I think I placed one the other one. I don't remember. We'll find out in a second. But yeah, this is super duper cute. I think, I guess I did put one here. I don't remember. So now I'm just cleaning up, and I am going to stamp my sentiment now. And you know what? I think maybe I have a couple more sentiments that are solid. They're like the reverse sentiments. And I like how they come out. And before I had this Versa Fine Clair ink, I used to only stamp with the distressed oxides, and it was because I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of inks. At the time, I didn't understand all the inks. I just wanted one ink that I can use for many purposes, and I decided to go with the distressed oxide inks. And every time I stamped, especially with the reverse stamp, it never came out good. And so I never used the stamps. In fact, I stopped stamping because it never seemed to come out great and crisp, until I decided to look into why that was, and I realized I was using the wrong. I mean, it does work, but you know, like this VersaFine Clair ink works so much better than like the oxide ink when you're stamping solid, more solid. So now I'm just adding some foam tape to my sentiments and gonna stick those right down. And since I'm done, and that would actually complete my card. That's not true. Actually, I believe I'm going to add some gems in a minute here. And there are my gems. So these gems, I got them off of Amazon. They're just some random gems. I think they actually are used for nail art, if I remember correctly. You get a whole bunch. I think it's like 5,000 of them in different sizes. And that's a lot to use. So if you use like 5 on each card, like what I'm kind of doing here, then you have like 5,000 cards, or 1,000 cards that you can make using these gems. So what I'm trying to say is that they last a long time, and it's really great. The different sizes from really large to really teeny tiny. I think it's a really good selection, and I've actually bought like several different colors. I like the clear ones, but then there's also like a rainbow mix. So now I'm on to my purple card bases, and this time I wanted to do something similar to like what I did the first time, and I did a lot of fussing around. I just was not working. I must have spent about 30 minutes just trying to make it work with those papers, and I just could not make it work. So I decided to take this 6x6 sheet. This is the one that has the flowers on the edges, and I wanted to cut it out, cut it out, cut it out around the flowers like a border piece, and use that as the garden scene. I thought this was so pretty, really, really pretty, and this would be perfect for my card. And there I am. I was hoping that green would be, which I believe is the back of that flower paper. I thought it'd be really nice to use. So I decided to emboss the white cardstock. It was too plain for me. I didn't like it to be too plain. Yeah, see, there's the evidence of my fussing around. I even tried to use some stenciling, but it just wasn't working. So anyway, I just adhered this fussy cut piece out, border strip out, and put my bunnies there at the bottom. There's a large blank space which seems to be perfect for my bunnies to sit on. And if you notice, I did not glue down the flower portion. A couple reasons, because one, it's embossed, the paper is embossed. Second, you know what? It kind of looks like it's raised because you can see the little like shadows behind the flowers. And I thought, hey, this gives it some texture, so I decided not to glue that directly down to the paper. So there's my sending hug sentiment. I cut off that border strip, and that's the end of that card panel. I tore that piece when I was fussing around earlier, and I thought it would look really great. And I just, you know what? I couldn't make it work for this card. I tried using other cards, and I couldn't make it work. It just wasn't working. I'm hoping that I can make it work. If not, then it's either going to be scrapped or I don't know. We'll see, maybe. So I brought out that embossing folder again. Decided to use it again, and use my bunny and my book binding string there, and just place it on the card. One thing that I thought I would mention here, you notice how I crossed the two ends? That seems to really help me keep it on the neat side. I know that it's supposed to be kind of a messy like circle in the background, but you know, I've never been able to like make it look like a nice mess. It's always been, yeah, just a hot mess. So it's a neater, messy circle nest thing in the back. And the best way that I found to make it work is having it crossed like that. Now the embossing folder I actually picked up in a crafty parcel from Simon Says Stamp. They have these parcels on Black Friday, and I actually just learned about them this past year. So I picked up a crafty parcel, and I got this embossing folder, and when I got it, I thought, not sure if I like it. It didn't really cover the entire panel, and I'm really glad that I kept it and I didn't give it away. And obviously it came out really nice. It helped make the card come together. So now for my blue cards, I'm just tearing the edges here. I do like the torn look. I think it looks really great, and I thought it would look really great here. Again, I'm trying to use that one scrap piece, and it just didn't work. And you know, when I tore this panel here, I didn't measure, as you saw. I just kind of went for it. I didn't want to measure it. So here I am. I'm using that one piece of grass that I stamped and cut out. And you know, when I look at it now, it's like, I think I would have gone without it. I really don't like the way it came out. It just doesn't really fit my card, I don't think. But you know what? It's still going to make somebody happy when they receive this in the mail. And that's really what counts. So part of Simon Says, the kit here, you got that tacky glue, and I thought it'd be really a good opportunity to use it for adhering the little bunny tail. Of course, that bunny tail came with the kit as well. And this is my last card panel that I'm trying to create. And I'm really not measuring anything. I'm just tearing and measuring as I go. And yeah, I like it. I thought this came out so cute. I got to finally use that side of the paper and the bunny. And I thought more messy, neat nest in the background would look really nice. And there it is, my little trick. Get to see it once more. and how I glue that on. I'm just placing foam strips on the bunny, and that actually makes my little scene there, thinking of you, gets glued on as well. Now, if I can direct your attention to the right-hand corner, there's my little helper. He comes in, tries to take my scissors. My sweet baby boy. Oh, I love him so much. He is my joy. He's my heart. He is my kick in my step. I love him so dearly. I love him and his big sister with all my heart. Well, that completes all 6 cards. I'm going to do a quick show so you can see what we just kind of looked at in the last 26 minutes. Please let me know which one is your favorite card. And please let me know if you have any tricks or tips on how to even make like a messy nest thing in the background. And let me know if you try to use like a different ink, like how I did for the grass, if that came out for you, instead of using typically black. I really like this kit. At the time of this video, it's actually still available. So if you like it, please go ahead and get yourself one. Thanks. Until next time.